friends. They were saying that, have you heard about the Notorious B.I.G and from Mississippi? He had a song called Big Daddy that was released in 1993, and it used the same sample that Juicy used that Big came out with in '94. What was the exact date that the single for Juicy came out? What part of
That's
'94 was that?
that's like June.
Okay, it was like
I
June.
feel
Yeah, I
like
remember it rocked the summer. And so I think what was really interesting about this was not only was it a guy who I guess kind of looked similar to Big,
very popular.
sounds somewhat similar to Big, was using the same sample that Big used for Juicy, but has the same name. And
Um,
go
August
ahead.
9th. I'm sorry to
August
cut you
9th.
off, but
Okay.
August
No, no,
9th.
no, no, no problem. August 9th. And so this record came out, from what I'm understanding, November of '93. Now, to kind of put together the pieces of the puzzle here, back then when there was no internet and people were trying to get record deals, you sent tapes into record labels. Or you mailed them to somebody, or maybe if you had like a local agent or radio person or whatever, they say, you know what, I'm gonna get this to such and such record label and we're gonna see how they like it. Sounds like this could have been a possible situation where the tape got in the hands of somebody who was around Big, and there you have it. Let me read the article real quick. Do you have any like what are your first reactions to hearing this?
How many times have I told you that major label artists steal songs from smaller, lesser known artists all the time? It's a common industry practice that's been going on for a long time. Now, this shit hurts a lot more.
Well, let me go to the article real quick.
It hurts. It hurts. No, no, no. It legitimately hurts.
Yeah.
It legitimately hurts.
What up, 007, man? He's in the room. He said, my
Legitimately
ex
hurts.
from Durham told me,
Raleigh Durham burn.
said, my
Sorry.
ex from Durham told me coming up in the South, the girls loved Wayne from the beginning. I remember him on Bling Bling when the beat dropped. No matter where you are in the U.S., people know that song. And a quick thing with that, too, man.
Hurts.
We talk about this all the time, me and my homeboy Brandon. They don't do radio edits anymore, right? You remember when they used to just really go in the studio and redo a radio edit? Well, the only reason why Wayne is on Bling Bling, that verse that we heard, and that was the verse that kind of made him jump out when we knew he was next. The only reason why he's on there is because of the radio edit. And so the story goes that they were doing the radio edit that day. They tried to call Turk because originally Turk has that verse. And Turk was fucked up on, alcohol, hungover, whatever. Couldn't make it to the studio. Wayne was in the studio, did the verse, boom. A legend was
I
born.
mean, I mean, Wayne was around. You know what I'm saying? Like
He was
BG and
there and ready to
Juvenile.
work.
Yeah, one of the greatest moments for me for Cash Money is actually The Block Is Hot, where Juvenile and BG are doing the hook back and forth together like that with Wayne on the bars.
I love it too.
Because it's kind of the reverse, because for so long he was in the background learning from those two specifically, and The Block Is Hot is actually his moment where he gets to put them on the hook.
Yeah, no. I think Wayne's career
is super
is
special. It's super special. Yeah.
Wayne's career is very Aaron Rodgers-esque, where it's like, you're sitting back watching the veterans do their thing, learning, and then when it's your time, took over. He put Cash Money Records on his back, and that's why I hate to hear these stories about him not being done properly when it comes to the business, because there would be no Cash Money.
They only exist now because of him.
Yeah, if Wayne wouldn't have put in that work in the time that he did put in that work, Drake, they wouldn't have Drake on their roster. They wouldn't have Nicki on their roster. Cash Money would have been an afterthought if Wayne didn't put Cash Money on his back in the time period that he did. A lot of respect for that.
Okay, so how about this? For me, UTP, put Cash Money on the map. You know what I'm saying? Locally. 400 Degrees is what took them national.
That was the record.
Listen, man, the Carter 1, is CPR, okay? And the Carter 2 is the solidification that you're going to
You think
stay
so?
alive. Without the Carter 1 and 2, there is no Cash Money because everything that really happened after the Carter 1 and 2. Like the
I
Carter 1
think the
is
Carter one.
CPR, and the Carter, because here's what the Carter 1 is. The Carter 1 was the stuff that's like, no, nigga's still alive. The Carter 2 was like, oh, this nigga's stupid nice. When did this happen? And when that happened together, like within a couple years span, then you see Drake and Nicki. And then you see the
That's
Carter
further
3.
down the line. Yeah. You know what?
No,
that
it's not
period,
that further down the line because you see Nicki you see them like 2 or 3 years after the Carter 2, so not really.
No, you're right. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. Like, I felt like the Carter 1 was Cash Money transitioning, where it was like, because it felt like when Juvie and all of them left, the Big Timers had some hits, right? And you could see that Birdman was kind of trying to be a soloist, kind of like what Diddy did with Bad Boy in the late 90s when Big passed. But what happened was Wayne got on songs like Neck of the Woods. He got on Get Your Shine On. It was like, oh, yo, Wayne sounds different. And they were taking like, yeah. And it was like when the Carter 1 dropped, it was solidified that, yo, Cash Money's going in a different direction. Because 500 Degrees, it's not whack. It just sounds like that old Cash Money, but Wayne's spitting on there, right? I think Carter 1 is kind of like that transition where we're going to take this company in a different direction, and Wayne put Cash Money on his back, man.
500 Degrees lacks direction.
Mm-hmm.
The Carter 1 lacks originality. The Carter 2 don't lack for shit.
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite one.
It's his best one. It's still his best piece of work. Like mixtape, I don't care. The Carter 2, no. He ain't never rapped like that and put songs together like that at the same damn time before or since.
No, that's
by himself. By himself.
Let me get to this article, man. I know we just jumped on the tangent, but I thought it was necessary.
We everywhere.
I thought it was necessary, though. Okay, let me get to this article.
It still hurts. I really don't want to talk about the big thing. That's why I was cool with the sidebar, because it hurts.
We got to talk about it. Let's see. Okay, so the article that I was sent, it came from, let me see, what is, man, I think I see it more so on this side. Well, I'll source them out real quick. But anyway, the article says, wait, Puff and Big stole Juicy from the Notorious B.I.G. name? Say rapper Notorious B1 track Big Daddy. 1993 EP Big Daddy, blah, blah, blah. From the Mississippi down to the East Coast, Biggie. The South is really the foundation of this culture. LOL. But here's what the article said. It said, in 1993, this is the artist B1, supposedly, speaking to a publication. And I still don't know how all this came out, but whatever. It said, in 1993, I was signed to a small record label called Dragon Records in Gulfport, Mississippi. I had a song that I wrote to Mtume's song called Juicy Fruit. I wrote the song to the actual record. It was called Big Daddy. Big Daddy was the lead single off of Mississippi Doughboys album that was released in September of 1993. So it was September. It was released on the same, he said it was released on the same day that Snoop Dogg's first album, Doggy Style, dropped. But I know that was in November, but you know, splitting hairs. The Doughboy album was made by two Gulfport rappers, Ty Dye and myself, the Notorious Big One, Notorious B1. Yeah, I had the same name and song first. I know it might be hard to believe, but it's 100% truth. We was on the radio first and in stores first. We sent packages to all the major labels shopping for distribution. Just imagine my surprise when people started calling me saying that they just seen my video. We was trying to get the truth out back then, but after B.I.G's death, I decided to leave it alone out of respect. I'm not fat anymore, and a lot has changed, but before I leave this bitch, I want everybody to know the truth. I was the original Notorious Big One. And on the screen here, I have the tape and all of that. What's your reaction to this? Do you think that this is real, first of all? Because, you know, even looking at some of the article and just trying to find out exactly where it came from, I would like to hear from the person. I would like to see somebody interview the Notorious B1 and, actually hear him speak, because I've never heard this story.
Have you reached out to him?
I haven't reached out. I'll do that, though. I wanted to do this show first, so before we reached out.
It don't look good at all. If you listen to the record, it's not. Here's the only saving grace I will say for Big, I guess, if there is one. Well, if this record got to Big from this Mississippi, Gulfport, like down low Mississippi,
down to the East Coast,
down from the Mississippi to the east, right? When we say Gulfport,
yep,
just that right there is very problematic. But here's what I say: how did this record make it to Big? Because
they said it was shopping for distribution.
No, exactly. And if you're shopping for distribution, that means it probably fell in whose hands, Mike?
Clive Davis.
I don't think so.
The man with the super chat says,
I mean, A&R who's leaving Uptown Records,
possibly,
that maybe is looking for talent from across the globe to start his own label. Might be a person.
He was an A&R at Uptown at the time.
Yeah, he's the person that's responsible for Mary J. Blige and Jodeci's look and sound and feel.
Well, his first baby mom, I forget her name, I'm sorry. The one that people were mistaken for Lil' Kim. She's
the hairstylist.
She's the stylist. She styled all of them. Yeah.
Lisa's the one. Hold on.
She's responsible for how all of them look.
Hold on.
But yeah.
Misa's responsible for how Biggie looked too. Misa's the one that told Big.
All of them.
No, Misa's the one that convinced Puff to take on Big. That's how that story really goes too.
Yeah.
He wasn't even going to take Big because he's like, I can't. He's not attractive enough. He's too big. She's like, make him attractive. We can make him attractive and fly. No, he's the best rapper.
Yeah. Man with the super chat says, thoughts on the new RZA album if y'all heard it. RZA got a new album, or y'all talking about the one with the one that came out a couple of months ago? Ethan Hill with the super chat says, it's one thing to take a man's song, but not the name. He could have just gone by Biggie Smalls. I don't want to hear anything about Puffy's legacy. Well, the name Biggie Smalls was actually taken, and it was a young man, it's a white Latino guy out in L.A. His name was Biggie Smalls, and he came out in 91, 92. And he was signed to an independent label. He must have had some juice behind him, because when they tried to run with the Biggie Smalls name, they were getting, lawsuits out there, and, they weren't able to use the name because of that artist. But yeah, you can look that artist up on YouTube as well. Mike 100 says, LOL, Mike speechless. There's a lot to unpack here, but I like where you were going, Coop. This could have slipped in the hands of an Uptown A&R at the time, which would have been, Puffy.
No, this is what I'm saying. This isn't A&R Puff at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what happens. Okay. When you're young and you're ambitious and you're black, and even though your boss is young and ambitious and you're black, if he feels like you're getting, I hate to use the old adage, too big for your britches. You know what I'm saying? What you might do when you get your ass fired is take every box of CDs and tapes
right
out that office.
Because you're looking for the next. Yeah, you're right.
And what I'm saying is that, and this is a good thing and potentially a bad thing. Oh, and you're as hungry, as ambitious as Puff is and was, because he's one of the most ambitious black men that there's ever been in this modern era.
Period.
Oh, you'll sift through every fucking tape.
Staying up all night, staying up
all
tape.
Night if you have to.
Let me ask you this, though. I mean, and maybe we can research this. When did Puff exactly leave Uptown? What's the
I want to believe that's late 92, early 93.
Okay.
Matter of fact, he's still at Uptown. When did Party and Bullshit come out? Because shortly after Party and Bullshit, I feel like this shit's a rap. If it wasn't already a rap.
Well, I got something on Party and Bullshit that I want to read too. How they never mind. I'll read it in a second. Where I want to go with this though.
Doesn't that make sense though?
No,
Like,
it
does it
does.
not make sense?
Because half of, and we talk about it all the time, half of Ready to Die was on Uptown, and the other half was when Puff and Big were gone
That's what
from
I'm saying.
Uptown.
He's on Big
And,
is on the What's the 411 remix.
and
He's
you
on the
can hear
Dolly
the
My Baby
difference.
remix.
You can
Dolly
hear,
My Baby with Supercat. That's 92 shit, people.
yeah.
That's 92 shit with Big.
Okay. Well, the name is too coincidental. It's one thing that somebody used Juicy Fruit, and because we heard, and it makes me, first thing I thought was like, okay, well, is Pete Rock miscalculating his story now? Because if this came from that, or maybe it could have been reaffirmation for Puff when he heard Pete Rock playing with the same loop. I don't know. But I want to talk to the people in the South, or if there's anybody in the room. I know we got almost 400 people in here. Anybody was in Mississippi and heard this song? Has anybody ever heard about this story?
I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you who I'm going to reach out to. One of the cats from my old camp, from the Battlefield camp, when we were together, one of our rappers is Young Fast. Fast is from Philadelphia, Mississippi. I'm going to shoot Fast a line and see what he knows.
Mr. Miller says, Miss Jones from Hot 97 said Puff stole her musical style and gave it to Mary when she was an artist. Diddy's been accused of stealing many a times. You know what? I came across this post that somebody
It's not just Diddy, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I'm saying.
Well, let me read you this. Let me read you this real quick.
Go ahead.
Somebody posted this under the Notorious Big One. It says, nothing new here. We sent Puff a tape back in the day to no response. A few months later, we hear Mary J. Blige singing over our track on the radio. The song is Be Happy. DJ Parlay made the track for Tracy Lee, and we knew Puff personally from Howard University. He jacked our shit and basically said, F y'all.
There go the Howard connection where he got his name big from the Howard parties. But here's the thing, and also where the trouble started because of the people that got killed at the Howard parties during the melee. Mm-hmm. So there's been like success and trouble following him his whole life, and including murder coming with it. Like before Big, people were dying around Puff. It's just like, these are facts. This is not me being gossipy at all. You can go check these yourself. And I mean, I'm also going to say this personally. No, I've known people that have been within Bad Boys camp, and I've said that too. Like, no, like he's been known to do shit like this. So,
thumbs up in the chat, everybody. We can get some more people in here.
So these are just facts. Now, and I'm saying more likely to do it in 92, 93, because he's not the Puff that we know in 92, 93. He's Puff Daddy. Like, he's still creating the name and the brand and the image, and this really doesn't take off until Big Papa takes off and the One More Chance remix takes off. Like, that's when like Bad Boy takes off. That's 95. This is 92, 93.
Man there with the super chat says Notorious Big One's record came out in 1993 before Ready to Die. Who knows? Maybe Biggie was inspired or Puff forced the record on him. Puffy the thief here.
So, can I go a step further with my investigative reporting about what I think happens?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Big wanted to release Machine Gun Funk as a single.
Mm-hmm.
Puff was saying Juicy. This is why.
Yeah.
This is why Big wanted Machine Gun Funk, because Big knew Machine Gun Funk was Big's record.
Do you
Big
think
wanted to drop his Brooklyn style record?
No, you're right.
With Easy Mo Beat. Like, you get what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you what probably happened too. Let's go a step further. They probably arguing about this over the course of Ready to Die being recorded, and then they go to Pete Rock's house and he's playing the Juicy beat, and that's where Puff wins the fight with Big. He's like, we got a nigga from Mississippi doing it. We got the nigga right here that's from Mount Vernon, Hev's cousin, doing it. Like, Big, come on, baby, let's get this money.
All speculation, but that sounds,
Check
plausible.
I'll take the check, please. Big had 2 steaks tonight. I convinced this nigga.
Oh, Sean with the super chat said, hey guys, respectfully, B.G. put Cash Money on the map. Look at his first 4 albums before It's a Pusha T. I'm sorry. It's Push. It's B.G. where the Face, Bun B, Pimp C. I'm sorry. He said B.G. where Face, Bun B, Pimp C, Ross all looked up to B.G. B.G.'s a G, man.
B.G. was the local champ.
B.G.'s definitely a legend. Dante Smith says this is more of an indictment against Puff than it is Big. Puff is taking credit for his record over the years. You know what? I know Puff is the easy target, and he's always the easy target. But my thing is, as a creator, and we talk about this all the time, and I'm used to people taking our shit, so I don't even really take offense to it. I know you take more offense to it than I do sometimes. But this is the thing. Big knew where his name came from. Big knew that this song exists. And, we're not going to harp on the people who aren't here to be able to speak for themselves. But at the same time, man, Big knew he took this man's song. So it's not just all on Puff. You know what I mean?
No, notice I said Big's saving grace. As in, Big's not absolved from this because he's still the artist. But what I would tell you is this. Well, Mike, if you're Big, what do? You've literally made it this far. You're a convicted felon. You're a former drug dealer. You're from fucking Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, Mike.
Yeah.
You're from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. You already got an F on your sheet and already did time. Look at how Big looks, Mike.
Yeah.
What is he about to go out here and do in the real world that's about to benefit him, like saying yes to this record? People with way more going for them would have said yes to. You and I would have said yes to.
That's real.
It's real.
It's unfortunate, man.
We've had records stolen out of my camp, Mike. The shit
I was going to ask you if that's ever happened to you, because I've never had a situation where anybody...
Them niggas from Alliance stole Holla's record. Their second song after Tatted Up, Going Digital, that's Holla's record. Our man Holla, the second song Alliance did after Tatted Up, the digital song, that's Holla's record. Holla, I tell you, when I found out that they had stolen... Holla was doing shows with them. When I found that they stole the record, I was willing to tool up. I was probably about third and fourth in line in that crew about motherfuckers that was willing to tool up. And I was on motherfucking 52. Like, so we're going to kill these motherfuckers?
So you think that Big is absolved of taking the man's name, too?
I got a problem with the name thing more than I do with the song thing. Because here's what I'm saying. There's rumors and some evidence of sorts, albeit contextual, because Big is gone, about Big fighting with Puff about the Juicy over Machine Gun Funk thing. This could possibly be why.
Well, what about the baby on the album cover? Like, let's be real here. Like, there's a lot of things, and I think that even when Ghost and Ray were saying what they were saying on the Purple tape, I don't think they were just alluding to, the album cover, even though that was the big focal point. That was something that we all could see. I think this is kind of a question of creative character, if you will. Just made up a term, but yeah.
No, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying, even the way
Pac
Big
spoke to this too.
Hold on, even when Biggie's talking on Ready to Die, he calls himself Biggie Smalls. He's not calling himself the Notorious B.I.G. Like,
yeah,
he says Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls passing any test. I'm ready to die. Unbelievable. Biggie Smalls is the illest. Like, he had decided on Biggie Smalls. That's what I'm saying. So I have a problem with the name thing, just because it's like, oh, no. You obviously are Biggie Smalls on Ready to Die. So like when I see the Notorious B1 thing and now the Notorious B.I.G, that's what I have a problem with, because he never really called himself that. He always called himself Big or Biggie Smalls.
You got it's the NOTORIOUS. You just lay down slow.
That's when I'm going back to Cali. Yeah. We're talking Ready to Die time. Okay. That's what I'm saying. That's 96, 97.
So you're saying at that point he wasn't particularly sold on the name.
Right, because he's a street dude from Brooklyn, so he doesn't like taking other people's shit, especially like when he's looking at what's going on climate-wise around him. You know what I'm saying? So
Free said something that people been telling me all day. Brooklyn niggas be thieving. Old news. You said it, I didn't. I don't know that to be fact.
I'm not from up top. I can't even speak to that.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. But, it's this is the thing, man, and maybe this is wishful thinking on my end. I'm like, you would think if let's just say this story is 100% real, 100% true, because the song sounds very real. Let's just say this is just 100% true. I
Mm-hmm.
would hope that after Big makes it to where he does, you reach out to this individual, especially since Mississippi got shouted out in the song anyway. Reach out to the individual and throw the man a bone, put the man on or something. Get him to where he was trying to get to because, like you said, all those things that Big had going against him, if you're going to steal and be a part of that stealing to get to where you need to get to, you got to understand that other person has something that they're trying to get to too. And when you get in position, you look out for what that person was originally trying to do. You know what I mean?
I dig it.
And
No,
that's the part that doesn't absolve him from that. Now, I don't
hey,
expect him to go out there and tell the whole world that he took a record or whatever, whatever. But at least, if you know that this is what happened, get this man a situation, man. That's what he's trying to do.
what if I told you that it's like Big probably wasn't even in financial position to maybe even straighten that guy out the way that he wanted to?
He was
For
in
what?
networking position, though.
Hold on. Listen. For what Juicy, but listen to what I'm about to say. For
Mm-hmm.
what Juicy became, Big couldn't have imagined that in his wildest dreams. Okay. And so, if Big didn't want to repay that debt, there's no way he could have repaid that debt under Puff, which is part of the other back end of this rumor. Well, this lends more credence to the fact that why Big wanted to get away from Puff. Because he knew stuff like this was floating around, was going to come out eventually about him. And he wanted to separate himself from that as quickly as possible. Hence a double album and then a triple album.
Well,
It lends credence. It lends credence to the thought process too.
Pac definitely didn't know this existed.
Oh no. Pac would have ran. That's what I'm saying. Pac would have ran with this. Oh,
Pac would have signed him to everything. He would have been on death row.
For as vicious as it would have got worse.
Ethan Hill with the super chat says black executives crap on Elvis and do the same.
Don't nobody care about Elvis.
Oh man, Elvis is a legend. Mike 100 says
he's a legendary thief. Absolutely.
Mike 100 says rappers take all the time. Mike, your favorite rapper took "Do It Again" from a local band in DC, and you cherish the record. Listen, facts on facts on facts.
Hold on.
And the only thing that's false is Jay-Z's not my favorite rapper. He's one of my favorite rappers.
I'm not gonna say his name because we've gotten too big and he's gotten too big. But somebody's down here stole a record from me once and flipped it and tried to turn it into something else. It has a similar title to one of my records. It has similar themes and cadence and delivery and flow that I exhibited on this record. This is actually when my shit was popping down here somewhat. It made it into his hands, and I know so because I knew people that knew him, and I was trying to get it in his hands, and he took my shit. Yeah, and he's still floating around in the game. Like, he's a fucking legend. It happens.
It happens.
He's a legend. I got another guy that I know, like, kind of secondhand smoke kind of way. Another nigga down here that's a legend that took one of my man's records before. That's just down here. I got me. I got Holla. I got another guy that one decent group and two legends and soul songs from. And here's the thing about it. Like, that was one of my better songs, and that ain't even a record that they remember that nigga for. But he was kind of on the tail end of his big run. And they'll reach for shit on the tail end of their big run and at the beginning of their big run.
Deontay Smith says, imagine if Pac would have discovered this during the beef. This would have been Quentin Miller level damaging. Jason with the super chat says, we need to hear y'all Joey Badass review. It's definitely in the running for album of the year. Joint's fire. Love the show. Keep it going. Yes, if Pac would have discovered this, man, that would have been something. Jason, yes, we're gonna talk about this Joey Badass album. I went back and listened again, Coop, and we'll get to it. But man, maybe my standards for Joey might be higher than others. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm not about to let you lower your standards for what his greatness could be like that. I'm going to tell you, I actually listened again today as well, just to make sure, because when I heard it, the first 2-3 times I listened to it, I was like, this is a 4, but I'm not impressed with this 4.
Right. We'll get to that. Let's stay on this real quick.
Okay. Yeah,
Pablo,
that's
the real
cool.
one, says we need to interview from B1. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reach out to B1. I'm gonna see if we can get him on the show. But I know that it sounds like he didn't want to go down this path just based on the paragraph that we read from just random news outlets. But it's not really a lot of extensive information. So that's why I'm interested in hearing from people who are from that area who may have remembered this song being on the radio. You know what I mean?
I don't really listen to Juicy because I'm not a big Juicy fan like everybody else. When I want to hear some Ready to Die shit, that's not where I go. Does the bar go from the Mississippi down to the East Coast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Listen to that. That's from the perspective of the Southern nigga. From the Mississippi down to the East Coast. Think about it. That's a Southern dude. It's very problematic. I don't feel good. I don't feel good.
But I was gonna ask you that.
There's a fucking picture of Big sitting right here with Ready to Die in the corner, Mike.
Does that change anything for you?
I don't feel good.
You know what? This is what I will say. And we talk about Biggie.
I like Puff less.
We talk about Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas, right? We can't really point to many things where Nas has taken from anybody.
There's no
and you know me, I've always been
he's taking bars from Rakim, but that's about it.
Yeah, but you know me, I've been more of a Jay guy, I guess, over the past 10 years, and that's kind of recently changed just due to the work that Nas is putting out there. But when you do a deep dive, especially the fact that Nas has so much material that never, made it to the surface or made it to light because it wasn't put out by the record labels. Nas has just as much, if not more, work than Jay. So Jay having a lot of work isn't the excuse, because that's the excuse I used to give him. Like, well, he got so much work, he might recycle a couple of bars from other people, pay homage or whatever. Nas never had to do any of that stuff. You never hear about the fact that people say, man, Nas took my bar or took my song or this and that. Just don't.
Well, I mean, because Rakim is the only person that could say it, and it's been few and far in between, and it really hasn't happened in about 25 years.
Well, you and I was talking about Paid in Full. Everybody's taking lines from Paid in Full. I was listening to Paid in Full the other night. Nigga, every bar on there has been repurposed to a certain degree. It's incredible.
So understand something about even how special Nas is. Nas, even the Rakim stuff that he regurgitated, first of all, most of the stuff that he regurgitates from Let the Rhythm Hit Him. The people, the album of his from At His Peak that people listen to the least. Everybody who's ahead always goes to follow the leader and Paid in Full. Mm-hmm. Nas went to Let the Rhythm Hit Him. You and I know this, Mike. Lyrically and voice-wise, more impressive on Let the Rhythm Hit Him.
To me. Yeah, Let the Rhythm Hit Him's crazy lyrically.
Lyrically. So hold on, let me just finish this thought quick. So even the place in the space that Nas chooses to pull from, I'm going to go back to Mahogany. He pulled the lyrical part from a love song about a woman and flipped it in the New York state of mind. Each moment's a mineral, poetry's protein, verses a vitamin, effects like codeine. Nas takes it, rhyming as a vitamin held without a capsule.
That's inspiration. That's not really taking. You know what I mean?
No, he's taking a few actual bars off Let the Rhythm Hit Him. And it's because I think one of the bars from The World Is Yours is off Let the Rhythm Hit Him. And one of the bars off It Ain't Hard to Tell is from Let the Rhythm Hit Him, like directly. But here's what I'll tell you, too. This is part of why Nas is the GOAT. It's like, well, he's always been the trendsetter and the pace setter for his era. Biggie jacked the album cover. Method Man's telling you, I'm trying to rap like Nas on the what?
Wow. 007 with the super chat says Joey Badass is a 4. He's like 4.1, I guess. 4.1 out of 5. It was time to ascend. He didn't. Now that I agree with.
Yes.
I think the 0.1 you're giving him is more 0.1 than I'm giving him.
Okay, so are we?
No, we're not done. We're not done with this.
Talk about it.
We're not done with this. You know what I'm gonna go to? Supreme Clientele's gone. Okay.
No, the Supreme Clientele album's in the corner at the top of the Biggie picture. You can't see it, but it's falling a little bit.
Well, I wanted to talk about something that somebody brought up to me You know the whole party and bullshit thing, right? From The Last Poet.
I've heard it. That's what I'm saying. It don't look.
They actually were openly trying to sue,
I didn't know that. It's really
and the
problematic.
case got dismissed. Let me read this real quick. It's kind of problematic and weird, really. So it says The Last Poets Party
It
and
ain't weird.
Bullshit copyright lawsuit against the Notorious B.I.G's estate has been dismissed. Um, shoot, let's see. All right, it says March 2016, spoken word legend Abidun says from Last Poets filed a suit over the Notorious B.I.G. smash hit Party and Bullshit, alleging that the title and the hook of the track borrowed lyrics from his 1968 classic When the Revolution Comes. Seeking $24 million in damages, he was on a mission to bring Biggie's Party and Bullshit. Being on a mission, being Biggie's Party and Bullshit wasn't the only song that he chased after. The original lawsuit included Rita Ora's How Do We Party, where Party and Bullshit was sampled on the hook, Busta Rhymes and Eminem's Calm Down, and also noted that the lawsuit later voluntarily dismissed the claim. So the reason why it got dismissed says nearly 14 defendants were named, including Easy Mo B, Diddy, and Berry Gordy Jr. On March 7th, cases against each defendant was dismissed by the district judge, finding that the spoken word artist responsible for failure to state a claim, insufficient process, insufficient service of process, and protection under the Fair Use Act. Biggie's estate found the dismissal victorious, which was ruled right around the time of Brooklyn Legend's 21st death anniversary. It's a well-earned victory for the estate, and it seems like a message from Christopher Wallace to receive the anniversary of his passing, said the attorney of the estate, Biggie. All right. I've never seen a situation where somebody's actual record is going to be deemed fair use. Have you ever seen anything like that? I know I missed a couple super chats. I'm going up to make sure we get those.
I'm sorry.
What is your response to this? Because you've heard the original When the Revolution Ends, right? I mean, they literally took them chanting party and bullshit. Like, what's the case? Pay the man. Especially when you got other artists out here using it after the fact. Yeah, if you got Rita Ora using your vocals from 1968, yeah, pay the man. Come on, man.
So are you sure? This is what I'm saying. Listen to what you're saying. Okay. So let's compartmentalize things from the MC perspective. Let's get inside Big's perspective as an MC when he's looking at somebody like Tretch from Naughty by Nature, who doesn't have to do this to make hit records. When he's looking at Wu-Tang Clan blowing up off of Cream and Can It All Be So Simple, the originality of it. Mm-hmm. When he's looking at Nas being held as a lyrical messiah and brainchild, do not tell me that all of this shit does not have something to do with this man wanting to make a double album and then a triple album. He knows this shit is not okay. Like in the streets. That's why I keep on saying, no, Big from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. He knows what's going on. And he's so charismatic and so great. He's like, no. I can pull this off, but I can only pull this off for so long. Double their ass, triple their ass, get out. Then I can tell my story and start making the music that I want to make. Because people are like, well, what's it going to sound like? Oh, it's going to be more machine gun funk and everyday struggle. And I'm okay with that shit, because that's the best shit on Ready to Die anyway. What's the best shit on Ready to Die? Ready to Die is the best shit on Ready to Die. Things Done Changed and Give Me the Loot's the best shit on Ready to Die. Everyday Struggle is the best shit on Ready to Die. What's Beef's the best shit on Life After Death. 10 Crack Commandments, Kick in the Door, Niggas Bleed.
But those aren't the records that sold the records.
You're nobody till somebody kills you. This is what I'm saying. He was already so big that he could have left Puff after that and still made those records, and it would have been okay at that point.
We got more than 500 people in the room, man. Make
We got
sure that
500 people in here.
yeah, we got 500 people in here. This is a
It's
perfect time to
big.
let people know that yes, we have the digital version of the 2021 according to Hip Hop Yearbook available, and it's actually at the top of the chat. Tell the people a little bit about the 2021 yearbook before we get back on topic.
No, I mean, it's an excellent piece of work. So we have a 2020 and a 2021 yearbook. Mike and I are pretty much doing a coffee table kind of display in hip hop book. What you have on there is our top 20 albums of the year, the top 20 slept on albums of the year, the best rhymes of the year. It's pretty much a composition of all the news, info, and all the things that have happened throughout the duration of the year, kind of putting you in one brief format. A lot of your favorite magazines and publications used to do a year-end wrap-up in one issue. This is actually a wrap-up actually covering the year in totality, just not like a year-end issue. It's a hip-hop moniker and timepiece. It's our staple like creative mind piece that we've created so far with more content to come. You all should definitely check it out. We have the digital product. We have the product on Amazon. It's pretty much everywhere like we are at this point.
Boom, boom.
500 people are in the room. It's Biggie Smalls.
Yeah, man. Esquire with the super chat says Esco is the GOAT, but he was inspired to make "I Gave You Power" by listening to Organized Confusion's "Stray Bullet."
Stray Bullet. Okay,
they're from Queens too, of course. Yes.
Correct.
Incredible.
So let's go to Stray Bullet. Stray Bullet is actually talking about from the perspective of the bullet. Nas is talking from the perspective of the gun. That's a more direct inspirational play because if you actually look at it, well, Stray Bullet's 1994-ish extinction, the Extension Project or something like Organized Confusions, not Equinox because that's their second album, the Stress Extinction Agenda Project. I forget what the actual name of the album is. Yeah, Stray Bullet's the shit too, but here's what I'm talking about. Okay, you want to know what Stray Bullet is? And I realized this when he's just said that. Pharoah Monch is more Lupe than Nas is. You know what I'm saying? And Stray Bullet's kind of like the example of that because for as brilliant as Stray Bullet is and lyrically it's inclined just the way I Gave You Power is, execution. Nas is the greatest executor of all the great lyricists. Lupe and Black Thought are both technically better lyricists than Nas. They don't execute the lyrical songs the way he do. I Gave You Power as an example of it. Because Pharoah Monch could be put in that category too, just probably not as a high level as Lupe and Thought at this point. So Stray Bullet's brilliant. But when you listen to I Gave You Power, you listen to somebody that knows how to execute it at a higher level. Always I'm in some shit. My abdomen is the click. My barrel's my dick, uncircumcised, pull my skin back and cock me. Stop that. That's not going on Stray Bullet. With the execution level and the lyricism at the same time compounding each other. And Primo's on the beat? No. That's just inspiration.
Yeah. 007 with the super chat says, my uncle is from Queens. He thinks that Big is the greatest. Went to the concert, all that. I had to tell him that he told me get the fuck out of here with that. Yes. See, this is problematic.
Niggas don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this shit, Mike. You see, I want to go to the next topic. I don't want to hear this shit.
We have to get history correct, man, and we can't just pick and choose when we want to disclose certain information that gets uncovered. Now, my only thing is I want to make sure that this is legit, and I can't wait to hear from B1 or hear somebody do an interview with him. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Art of Dialogue's probably going to do an interview with him. They did one of the posts about it, and they do interviews with everybody. Esquire says, lawyers speaking here. 2 Live Crew has the most famous hip-hop fair use lawsuit. They sampled Pretty Woman and turned it into Bald-Headed Woman. Okay.
That's off the You So Nasty as They Want to Be.
I know you're an attorney, but did they do it, did they consider it an interpolation? Because that kind of is an interpolation with them changing Pretty Woman into Bald-Headed Woman, kind of like making fun almost as like a Weird Al Yankovic parody type of case, possibly. This actually just took the vocals.
Biggie's start off in Juicy is the most famous lead off in the history of rap.
Well, I was talking about party and bullshit, but yeah.
I understand that. It was I'm fucked up that it was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the lip. Mike, those are the most famous bars to start off a rap song maybe ever. Like that and Nothing But a G thing. 1, 2, 3 into the foe. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door. That and It Was All a Dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine.
I think Juicy is an incredible intro to somebody's career too. Like that's probably one of the best lead off career songs.
As far as hip hop goes, it's the best
because it tells the story. Yeah,
it's the best ever. As far as kickoff, think about it. If you haven't been on the underground scene and you don't know hip hop and you've never heard this guy before, and that record comes on the radio.
He tells you everything.
Summer of '93, It Was All a Dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine. Mike, if you're ahead around that time, you're still hanging pictures on your wall and in your lockers. Hanging pictures on my wall. You're like, oh shit, me too. Every Saturday, Rap Attack, Mr. Magic, Marley Marl. I let my tape rock till my tape pop. Me too. Smoking weed and bamboo, sipping on private stock. Me too. It was Mad Dog 2020.
That was the first song I ever taped. Like, you know how we used to tape shit off the radio on the tape recorder or whatever? That was the first song I ever taped.
Mike, when I remember when Charlotte played the late night mix the first time I heard Unbelievable, when he said Biggie Smalls is the illest. Your style is played out like Arnold and that What You Talking About Willis. I was like, oh, I've never heard nobody talk like that before. It's like nobody's talked like that before. Who's that?
Listen, Big's skills are incomparable and just undeniable. I think that, again, me, the only thing that this compromises is some things that we kind of already knew from what Pac would say, what Ray and Ghost and them would say, is just creative integrity and taking things. And we've heard that from other artists too, but we know that these other artists have. What's that?
It's juicy, Mike. It's not a regular Mike. For a lot of people, as in about 90 to 95% of us, isn't this one of the 10 greatest rap songs ever? Like on a whole scale? Like as far as if we're discussing songs that have been released, isn't this a top 10 rap song of all time? Like the likes of Cream, Nothing But a G Thing.
Do you think so?
Yes, Juicy's up there. Dear Mom, yes, Juicy's up there, Mike. Juicy is one of the few rap songs that everybody knows word for word, no matter where you're from or who you are. Not too many rap songs have it like that.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and let me get to this.
You can't win.
Let me get to this super chat real quick.
One More Chance worldwide. You understand that, right? Like One More Chance is a better record. You understand Juicy's bigger than One More Chance, right?
I don't know about that. Hold on. I want to get to this.
You been to the white clubs in Buckhead when we was younger?
Southside says, hey, Mike and Coop, don't forget about the fellas. Don't know what that means. Let us know what that means a little bit more. This is what I will say. I feel like when Juicy came out, summer of 94, Flavor in Your Ear was bigger than that record. Am I wrong?
You're talking about,
okay, I feel like, we're probably saying some similar things.
Right.
I feel like Juicy's legacy grew over time.
Because how about this? This is what I'm saying.
It's very still DRE-ish in that way. Because
it's bigger than that.
It is bigger than that, but I'm just saying how still DRE grew more legs as time went on.
No, it's definitely one of those records that the legs grew. Because here's the thing. The nostalgia of the record grew even bigger, obviously, when he died. But that's why I'm saying it's like, no, I can remember like being down in Buckhead, like late 90s, early 2000s. And it's like when Juicy came on, how about this? The niggas knew One More Chance. It's like when Juicy came on, everybody knew knew Juicy. Yeah. The bartenders were singing Juicy. The white girls that were like white girl wasted, they were singing Juicy. The white boys that wanted to be black, they were definitely singing Juicy.
One More Chance was bigger when it dropped. But
bigger when it dropped, but not over a course of time. That's why Nothing But a G Thing holds. It's like, I tell you what, Mike, Lil Ghetto Boy's better than Nothing But a G Thing. How did Lil Ghetto Boy hold over time compared to Nothing But a G Thing? When Nothing But a G Thing still plays today, I'm like 1, 2, 3, and 2. I can't help it. Which they took from the DOC shit.
And somebody said Still DRE is best song ever. You know what? I totally agree. It's one of them. And I think that's why
Y'all are totally
songs like,
overrating Still DRE. You're
huh?
overrating Still DRE.
Really? I love that
You
record.
are.
I remember when that record dropped.
It's
I'm
not like that. It's
no.
dope.
Really?
I mean,
I think that's why its legacy grew over time because it's just. Listen, I'm gonna keep it all the way 100.
I'm making a Dr. Dre's
It's
greatest.
the best. It's the best song on 2001.
No, it's not.
It is. It is. It is. I mean, I hate that they played it out now, but it's the best song on 2001. What song is better?
I mean, there's so many songs that I just inherently
Such
like.
a great album.
Better. I personally think that The Watcher is better than Still DRE. Just The Watcher alone.
If you want to say Explosive or something, I guess I can rock with that.
Definitely better.
But
like,
Still DRE is better than Explosive.
I like I don't know, like when y'all do the Still DRE thing, it's like, I don't know, Still DRE doesn't hit me the way that like Nothing But a G thing hit me, the way Little Ghetto Boy hit me, the way Let Me Ride hit me. Like all of those off the Chronic are like better than that. So it's
well, yeah, the Chronic's a little different.
So when you can say Still DRE is the best Dre record, it's like no, it's like not even like a top 5 Dre record.
I will say this. Off the top of my head, the only one that I could just
Natural Born Killers is better than Still DRE to me, but I don't like that happy shit.
No, it's not. Yeah, you don't like the happy shit.
Ice Cube's ball work on Natural Born Killers is better than everything.
Ice Cube is on there. That's different.
That's what I'm saying.
So the bar work is gonna be better, but that beat's one of the best beats ever, man. It is what it is.
It is, man.
Now, Let Me Ride is one song that I will say definitively that I would say I personally like better than Still DRE. But man, it's slim pickings after that. I mean, it's kind of. I love Dre Day. The Chronic's just different.
I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. The Chronic's different because here's what I'm saying. Like on Still DRE, Snoop don't talk the same. You feel what I'm saying? Like Snoop on Dre Day, and we gonna take a creep this whole, and we gonna move to South. What he say? And we gonna creep to South Central on the street knowledge mission. As I step in the temple, spot him, got him. No, they don't talk like that no more, Mike. Stop that. Still DRE's not that. No. Stop that. With my nuts on your tonsils while you're rapping on stage at your whack ass concert.
And I'm
gonna pull your ass from the backside and show you how Death Row pull out that who ride. Now you might not understand me.
Because I'm gonna blast you in Compton and rob you in
Miami. Yeah, no, Mike. Like that's what I'm saying. You think Still DRE is better than that? You're tripping. These nuts.
I love these records, man.
These nuts.
Still DRE is incredible.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
I hear you.
I think Express Yourself is better than Still DRE. That's what I'm saying.